What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of The Dig, a series dedicated to helping you improve profitability on your farm.
On today's episode, we're going to be digging into our 5 PFR Proven Success Strategies for corn to set you up for a successful 2023 season. I'm Aaron, and this is Collin.
Let's dig in!
Each year brings new data from our Practical Farm research team. By looking at diverse products and practices across several locations, we've determined 5 success strategies for corn that we believe will provide farmers with the highest likelihood of success.
That's right. First up, let's dig into planting date.
Beck's multi-year PFR data shows that early planting pays off. And to ensure that you give your crop the best possible start, make sure to utilize practices like planting early with the appropriate seeding depth, and also make sure we're planting into optimal conditions as well.
By planting early, you've provided your crop with more opportunities to capture sunlight. When it comes to corn, planting early allows for more carbohydrates to be produced and potentially stored for use during grain fill. This is one method to further optimize yield potential.
Our 21-year multi-location data suggests that planting in the second half of April sets our crop up for the most yield potential. Not necessarily the most yield potential.
That's right, early planting definitely pays when it comes to corn, but the penalty for delayed planting may not be as severe as it is for soybeans.
Never forget that achieving a uniform stand is going to trump the calendar date every single year. So while this success strategy does have proven data, always use your best judgment before you go out and you hit the field. Our second success strategy also happens to be centered around one of our most popular and most asked about PFR topics: closing wheels.
Our team has found that in most situations, any pair of spiked closing wheels are better than the standard 2 solid rubber closing wheels. This can be applied to most soil types, but PFR data indicates that soil type and planting condition ultimately dictates the best closing wheel for you.
And knowing which closing wheel works best will benefit you in the long run, as closing the seed trench and optimizing that seed to soil contact is essential for uniform emergence. So why is this so important?
I know. Because closing the seed trench and optimizing seed to soil contact is essential for uniform emergence, which leads to higher yields. This is achieved by filling the seed trench from the bottom to the top and firming the soil while eliminating air pockets.
That's right, and open slots allow herbicides and insects like slugs direct access to the seed, which is gonna cause injury. When planting conditions aren't exactly ideal, these aftermarket closing wheels are needed to help crush or collapse that sidewall to help eliminate tomahawk roots that cause root restriction and yield loss.
So which closing wheels are best to achieve optimal yield? PFR data indicates that the proper closing wheel varies depending on your soil types and planting conditions. However, nearly all aftermarket closing wheels have performed better than the 2 solid rubber closing wheels that come standard on most planters.
Our closing wheels need to maintain consistent pitch and ground contact to successfully close that furrow. Standard closing wheel tails have limited travel, so when they move up, the pitch of the closing wheels likely gets wider. So likewise, when they move down, they can struggle to close as they were designed.
That's why many farmers are moving to a closing wheel system setup. The parallel arms on a Schaffert 4-link closer allow for greater travel to maintain a consistent pitch and thus more consistent closing of the seed trench. Fast Track utilizes a chevron closing wheel system to help manage the soil density in the seed trench and eliminates open seed slots.
And if you've had issues with obstructions lifting or impacting those closing wheels, another thing to consider adding to your closing wheel system is the walking axle attachment.
Walk it out. Yes, I walk it out.
It's pretty terrible.
The walking axle creates a walking motion of the closing system, allowing the unit to travel more smoothly when dealing with obstructions and increased changes in the soil surface.
In addition, as high-speed planting becomes more popular, row unit bounce becomes more pronounced. Having the ability to keep the closing wheel stable and running at a consistent pitch will be more important. According to our 4-year multiple location PFR data, using urea ammonium nitrate, or UAN, fertilizer to feed and build the roots on both sides of the plant results in more stable anchor for the corn crop.
Using this system increases your early season nitrogen while also limiting salt loading near the seed. Spreading the nitrogen fertilizer on both sides of the row instead of just one side of the row, like in a 2x2 application, can reduce the amount of preferential root growth as well.
By splitting 60 units of UAN over both sides of the row, we have seen an average yield increase of 1.3 bushel an acre over 30 units UAN 2x2x2. We've also seen a 7 bushel yield advantage over 30 units of UAN placed 2x2. Aaron, what does this even mean?
What this means is by splitting our starter on both sides of the row, bumping up our rates a little bit, pulling it out of the side dress later on, we see pretty good yield advantages here in PFR.
All right.
Our fourth success strategy, and one that is increasingly becoming more popular, is side dressing nitrogen on your corn crop.
When it comes to side dress practices, our team has identified split applications of nitrogen as a PFR proven practice to increase yields. Utilizing split application allows for in-season adjustment of nitrogen to account for rainfall, planting date, and the environment.
Even though split applications do require a little bit more labor, they help mitigate the risk of nitrogen losses via denitrification, leaching, and surface runoff, while also improving yield and in-use efficiency.
A split or side dress nitrogen application can be planned or added in response to weather-related losses early in the season. Applications made after the plant has emerged allows you to maintain more available nitrogen during key growth stages like ear development, V4 to V8, and the late vegetative and early reproductive stages like V12 to R1.
Understanding corn nitrogen needs throughout the season and the correct growth stages to target is key for a successful crop. Corn between that V8 to VT growth stage needs approximately 7 to 10 pounds of nitrogen per day to ensure that there's enough available prior to that rapid uptake stage.
Does this data mean that side dressing applications will pay every single year in every single environment?
No, but when it comes to nitrogen, managing risks is a solid approach. Side dress applying nitrogen decreases your risk from the 4 nitrogen loss mechanisms because less is exposed at any one time to large losses. It also helps provide an adequate supply during those key growth stages that we talked about.
Our fifth and final corn success strategy is, you guessed it, fungicide timing.
Fungicides primarily prevent or mitigate disease pressure, but they can also increase water use efficiency, photosynthesis, and nitrate reductase activity. They also help us increase that window for grain fill and improve stress tolerance.
One of the most important factors to consider when planning for a profitable fungicide pass is timing. Specifically, what is the best growth stage to target?
Our PFR team has found that timely fungicide applications pay due to the plant health benefits that it provides. It was found that later applications in corn can help control diseases that tend to move in after pollination and will provide an even higher ROI than those early season fungicide applications.
When looking at corn, our PFR data has consistently shown that the most profitable fungicide timing to help combat these diseases is the VT growth stage. With 3-year average yield increase of 11.6 bushel an acre and an ROI average of over $20 an acre, this is definitely the stage you want to target.
As I mentioned before, those later fungicide applications and corn can help control diseases that tend to move in after pollination. Diseases like tar spot, gray leaf spot, northern corn leaf blight, and southern rust, all of which have become significant foliar diseases of corn in our marketing area that can lead to significant economic losses and harvest issues.
That wraps up the corn success strategies.
Be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for our soybean success. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for our soybean success strategy video coming out next time on
The Dig. There it is. Nailed it.
That is right. And be
kind and rewind.
Just go from there.
all right.
And today we're going to dig into our third corn success strategy, starter on both sides of the row. Let me just do the starter on both sides of the row.
Well, my friend, wrap it up for him.
One more time. I forgot what I was talking about. Okay.